Well, hello, my name's Ian, and I want to give you 3 quick stories about myself tonight throughout my life, that sort of formative stories that maybe influence how you might view me. The first story. In elementary school, in grade 5, my school actually did do the Gideon Bible distribution. I didn't really think about it too much at the time. They gave us all a little form to take home, and your parents would sign it if you wanted a Bible. And I was just confused by it. My family was very secular. We were very non-religious. We didn't go to church on Sunday. We just sort of stayed in. And I grew up in rural southern Alberta, which was a relatively religious part of Canada. And so I'd have friends that would go to church, and it would just be like, well, why can't you play on Sunday morning? Oh, because you're going, what is church? Why are you doing that? So I was confused. And so I had this form, and I didn't really get it. I had sort of the idea of religion from all the TV I watched. You know, I like to joke that everything I learned about religion came from The Simpsons. So I'm sitting on the bus with this form, and I look to my friends, and I'm just like, you know what, if they give me a Bible, I'm just going to burn it. And they'll just like glare at me, and I'm like, and I was just maybe a clueless child, but I also, I guess, didn't have many friends, and I don't know if that helped. That was the first formative moment. The second comes in high school, and I'm still a secular child. I think at some point I decided to try to pray for a toy, and then realized after a couple seconds it was a waste of time. No one was listening. So I was just sort of I don't know if I was calling myself an atheist, but I didn't believe in God, and just didn't really get why other people did. And so I go into Bio 20, grade 11 biology, and we're in the evolution unit. And the teacher looks at us all and says, I don't actually care what you believe. You have to learn this. It's in the curriculum, and if you don't agree with it, forget it after the test. I went, okay, why are we putting a disclaimer on one of the units? I didn't realize there was a portion of the Alberta population that thought evolution was crap. I was still kind of ignorant, I guess, but just sort of going along with things. I was like, that was really weird. And as I look back more and more, these things stand out more and more. And the third story I have comes from my undergrad. This is actually one of my favorite stories. I'd already been involved with atheist student group that I'd gotten going, and I was out actually campaigning, door knocking during an election campaign with one of my teachers, ironically enough. And we're just walking back through Edmonton down the main drag, and I see this table there, and it's the Scientologists, and they have their free stress test, and I'm like, I have to do it. And she was an atheist, but she wasn't like go out and knock on religion, but just sort of snicker at it in the corner. And I see this table, I'm like, I'm going to do the test. She's like, God, no. And I'm like, okay. And so they sit me down they give me the chair, and they sit me down, and they give me the 2 cans, because they have the e-meter. And so Scientologists believe that we were all, Scientologists are weird, so they believe that we have thetans, which is basically sin that has been inserted into us by aliens, whatever. And they have a meter that can actually measure these. So they have a scientific equipment to measure this. It's fantastic. They can test their beliefs. Unfortunately, their meter, they told me, was 10,000 times more accurate than a lie detector. And so I'm holding this glorified lie detector, which is really a resistance meter that they just twist the knobs on until they get a signal. And so I'm sitting there like on a high because I've just had a great day. And they're like, so, Ian, tell us about your family. Oh, it's all good. I have a good family, love parents. Okay. Tell us about your school. Is that going okay? Yeah, school's going good. You have a good love life? Yeah, it's all right. Nothing to complain about. Okay. Are you feeling okay today? Yeah, really good. Are you on drugs? No. Are you sure? No.
Should you
no
be?
drugs. And so I go through this whole test. I go through the stress test. And the Scientologist goal with this is to find stress in you, because they have the solution. They have the cure. You know, they have Dianetics, which was initially a science-based alternative to psychiatry to try to cure your stress. But I had none. So they were just perplexed. So they handed me the promotional DVD. I said, oh, can I have a Dianetics? They're like, oh, that'll be $30. I said, no. And so I took the DVD and I watched it. It's all these glazy-eyed people talking about how great Scientology is. It was really creepy, I couldn't even watch it. But my point is, I passed the Scientologist stress test, and that was just sort of the most proud moment I've had with religion, is I beat the system. So those are 3 of my stories. I like the number 3 because it tends to stand out. It's a good way to tell any speech. So thank you.